Hello friends. What happens when the air of Libra meets the water of Scorpio? Sounds poetic, maybe even magical, right? But the truth is, this combination can be either a beautiful symphony or a silent war played behind smirks and compliments. Let's dive deep into the mysterious, charming, and occasionally explosive chemistry between a Libra man and a Scorpio woman. Love, the charmer meets the enchantress. At first glance, this connection is almost cinematic, two people so fundamentally different, yet magnetically pulled toward each other like opposite ends of a cosmic battery. The Libra man enters the scene like a breeze through an open window, light, refreshing, and impossible to ignore. With his effortless style, polished manners, and disarming smile, he navigates love like a skilled diplomat, every gesture intentional, every word coated with charm. For him, love is beauty in motion, a fluid exchange of minds and emotions meant to uplift, not disrupt. He craves connection, but not chaos. Harmony is his compass, and if the road gets rocky, he'll try to pave it with reason, logic, or even avoidance. Meanwhile, the Scorpio woman doesn't enter a room, she claims it. Her presence is a quiet storm, powerful, mysterious, and deeply felt even when she says nothing at all. She doesn't fall in love in stages, she plunges head first, heart first, soul first. Romance, to her, is a crucible. It should change you, burn away the shallow, and reveal what's real. She has no time for pretenders or casual connections. Her love is an initiation, a rite of passage, passionate, exclusive, and edged with emotional intensity. Where the Libra man floats gently over the surface, admiring the view, the Scorpio woman swims to the bottom, looking for the hidden currents. She needs depth, not decoration. Meaning, not motion. So what happens when he glides while she dives? The result is initially intoxicating. He's mesmerized by her mystery, her confidence, her raw, unapologetic presence. She sees in him a rare lightness, a kind of intellectual charm that promises safety without suffocation. Their chemistry can feel like a dance between fire and silk, delicate but consuming. They challenge each other in ways they've never experienced. She awakens parts of him he didn't know he had, emotional intensity, vulnerability, the courage to feel more deeply. He, in turn, softens her edges, makes her laugh, shows her that love doesn't always have to hurt to be real. But as the relationship deepens, so do the cracks. The very things that drew them together start to pull them apart. His desire for balance may start to look like passivity to her. When things get emotionally intense, as they inevitably do, he may default to charm, diplomacy, or strategic avoidance. She sees this as a betrayal. Why isn't he fighting for it? Why doesn't he burn for her the way she burns for him? To her, withholding emotion is equivalent to withholding truth. To him, constant emotional interrogation feels like an ambush. He wants serenity, she wants sincerity, even if it cuts deep. Their love language is written in different alphabets. He speaks in metaphors and music, she speaks in silence and storms. She tests loyalty by provoking it. He protects peace by retreating from conflict. She needs emotional intensity like oxygen. He needs mental harmony like water. And yet, if they choose to understand, not change, each other, magic is possible. He must learn that sometimes, to love her is to step into the fire, to stop smoothing over tension and meet her in the rawness. She must learn that his quiet love is no less deep, that softness isn't weakness, and that not all battles need to be fought to win. Can it work? Absolutely. But not by accident. It requires intention, patience, and a willingness to grow in unfamiliar ways. Libra must stop fearing the discomfort of depth. Scorpio must stop resenting the presence of light. Together, they can become more than just lovers, they can become mirrors, healers, and protectors of each other's contradictions. The charmer and the enchantress. The air and the water. If they balance the breeze with the current, they don't just float, they fly. Sex, the dance of desire and depth. Let's not sugarcoat it, this pairing walks into the bedroom from two very different worlds, carrying two very different definitions of intimacy. For the Libra man, sex is about harmony, beauty, and connection. It's a gentle crescendo, a curated experience. He's the type who spends as much time creating the perfect setting, dim lighting, silky sheets, carefully chosen music, as he does engaging in the act itself. For him, foreplay is not a prelude but part of the symphony. Every touch is intentional, every whisper considered. He wants the entire experience to feel like a romantic sonnet, a graceful unfolding of mutual pleasure. He reads his partner's cues with attentiveness and values reciprocity. Sex, to him, is less about surrender and more about sharing a moment of aesthetic and emotional intimacy. But for the Scorpio woman, sex is an entirely different territory, uncharted, sacred, and far more primal. She doesn't just want to be touched, she wants to be known, completely, fearlessly, and without restraint. To her, physical intimacy is emotional exposure in its rawest form. It's a storm, a baptism, an act of total transformation. She's not concerned with ambience or aesthetics unless they serve the ritual of merging souls. When she undresses, she's not just shedding clothes, she's peeling back layers of control, demanding that her partner do the same. She needs intensity that reaches past the skin and into the soul. Every movement, every breath, is part of a psychological dance where power, vulnerability, trust, and passion collide. If she doesn't feel deeply connected, she'd rather abstain entirely. Now, imagine these two energies trying to find rhythm with one another. At first, the contrast can be intoxicating. Libra's tenderness disarms Scorpio. His soft touch, poetic words, and emotionally safe environment provide a rare moment of surrender for her. He gives her the space to feel adored, not devoured. Meanwhile, Scorpio's depth stirs something inside Libra he didn't know he needed, a rawness, a presence that pulls him from thought into sensation. She teaches him to go deeper, to feel more, to stop performing and start experiencing. If they manage to trust each other enough to sync their tempos, the result can be nothing short of alchemical. In that bedroom, art meets instinct. He brings elegance, she brings elemental power. Together, they create a language of love that is both sacred and sensual. But this same contrast can just as easily collapse into chaos if they don't consciously bridge the gap between them. Libra's desire for balance, softness, and mutual pleasure can feel frustratingly controlled or emotionally distant to Scorpio. She may perceive his desire for beauty as a lack of depth or commitment. When things start to feel too choreographed, she may test him, intentionally creating emotional tension or inviting confrontation to see if he can meet her in the raw places. And for Libra, who recoils from emotional turbulence, this can be deeply unsettling. He might feel manipulated or overwhelmed by her emotional demands and fiery eroticism. What he views as healthy detachment, she may see as disconnection. And when he pulls away, she may plunge even deeper, searching for emotional proof, challenging him to rise to the occasion or fall away completely. It's in this push-pull dynamic that the relationship is most fragile, and most potentially transformative. If they don't understand each other's sexual language, they risk misinterpreting intentions, leading to unmet needs and emotional misfires. But if they do choose to learn that language, if they listen and adapt and remain curious, they can create a sexual bond that's unlike any other. He will teach her that surrender doesn't mean losing power, it can mean gaining peace. She will teach him that intensity doesn't mean instability, it can mean truth. In the end, the dance of desire and depth is exactly that, a dance. One must lead sometimes, the other must follow, and both must be willing to hear the music the other hears. When Libra's grace and Scorpio's gravity collide in harmony, the experience is transcendent. It's not just sex. It's connection. It's metamorphosis. It's two people writing a story with their bodies that they couldn't speak with words. Marriage, a battlefield or a balance? Marriage between a Libra man and a Scorpio woman is rarely simple, but rarely dull. It's a union that either elevates both partners into their highest emotional selves, or pulls them into a long-term psychological tug-of-war. The stakes are high, because both individuals take commitment seriously, but in very different ways. The Libra man views marriage as a refined partnership, a place where love, mutual respect, and shared aesthetics form the bedrock of everyday life. He's the diplomat in the relationship, the one who wants to smooth conflicts with reason, charm, and compromise. He may not raise his voice often, but that doesn't mean he doesn't care. In fact, his entire sense of self is wrapped up in the ability to create harmony. His ideal marriage is full of laughter, fairness, romance, and intellectual connection. He wants someone to share a beautiful life with, someone who complements his style and soothes his need for emotional equilibrium. To the Scorpio woman, marriage is not just a relationship, it's an all-consuming soul contract. She doesn't just want a partner, she wants a co-conspirator in life's deepest emotional missions. To her, being married means absolute loyalty, spiritual depth, and the constant pursuit of emotional truth. She's not afraid of discomfort if it leads to deeper understanding, and she expects her partner to meet her on that level. Her radar for dishonesty, emotional or otherwise, is razor sharp, and if she senses that her husband is skimming the surface instead of diving into the emotional trenches with her, she will not stay silent. She doesn't just want affection, she wants devotion. Not just conversation, but revelation. In her world, emotional transparency is a must, not a bonus. If something feels even slightly off, she'll question it, investigate it, and demand clarity. Now imagine these two navigating the everyday realities of marriage. A decision about finances, parenting, or even where to spend the holidays can feel like a strategic negotiation for Libra and an emotional litmus test for Scorpio. Where Libra tries to diffuse tension with logic or compromise, Scorpio may interpret this as emotional evasion or, worse, disloyalty. Where Scorpio pushes for intensity, depth, and truth, Libra may feel backed into a corner, overwhelmed by the pressure to go deeper, when all he wants is to breathe. This can create a loop of emotional misfires. Libra withdraws, hoping to maintain peace, Scorpio pursues, sensing emotional distance, Libra pulls back more, Scorpio turns colder and more suspicious. If left unchecked, these patterns can turn a marriage filled with potential into a silent battlefield. And yet, when they choose understanding over instinct, this pairing can evolve into something truly extraordinary. Libra must accept that harmony isn't just the absence of conflict, sometimes it's born from honest, even difficult conversations. He must be willing to engage emotionally, to stop deflecting with politeness or retreating into logic, and start showing up vulnerably. Scorpio, on the other hand, must learn that not every emotional nuance needs to be dissected in real time. That sometimes peace isn't avoidance, it's a form of trust. She has to loosen her grip on control, accept imperfection, and recognize that love expressed differently isn't love withheld. When both partners do the work, their marriage becomes a fusion of elegance and emotional resilience. The Libra man brings grace, patience, and a steady hand to the relationship, often reminding Scorpio that love can be soft without being shallow. The Scorpio woman, in turn, offers emotional depth, fierce loyalty, and a powerful reminder that real connection requires risk. Together, they can grow a marriage that is intellectually stimulating, emotionally transformative, and fiercely protective. In time, their differences don't divide them, they define them. Their union becomes a rich tapestry of contrasting strengths, where Libra's diplomacy meets Scorpio's intuition, and where logic and passion find common ground. This is not a marriage that coasts on autopilot. It's a marriage that demands attention, care, and deep emotional investment. But for those willing to navigate the shadows and the light, it can be one of the most rewarding journeys two people can take. When grace learns to stand in the fire and intensity learns to breathe, marriage between a Libra man and a Scorpio woman becomes not just a balance, but a bond that is nearly unbreakable. Friendship, opposites attract and sometimes collide. Can a Libra man and a Scorpio woman really just be friends? The short answer is yes, but the long answer is a bit more complex, layered with emotional textures, personal boundaries, and energetic contrasts. These two zodiac signs approach friendship from opposite ends of the spectrum, and whether their connection flourishes or fizzles often depends on how much they're willing to understand and respect those differences. On the surface, it might seem like an odd match. The Libra man is sociable, diplomatic, and charming, someone who makes friends effortlessly and moves through conversations with the ease of a seasoned entertainer. He prefers balance in his relationships and often avoids heavy emotional entanglements. For him, friendship is about harmony, shared interests, laughter, and intellectual connection, a pleasant escape, not an emotional roller coaster. By contrast, the Scorpio woman approaches friendship with surgical precision. She doesn't do casual. She doesn't do convenient. When she chooses someone as a friend, it's because she sees value in their soul, not just their personality. Her loyalty runs deep, but it's earned through consistency, trust, and emotional depth. To her, friendship is sacred, a chosen alliance where both parties must show up fully, honestly, and unapologetically. She doesn't have time for flaky energy, half-truths, or fair-weather connections. Her bonds are few, but they are fiercely guarded. So when she meets someone like the Libra man, whose emotional landscape is more diplomatic than raw, it can trigger her internal alarm bells. Is he trustworthy? Is he real? Or is he just charming because he wants to be liked? Their initial interactions are often a mix of fascination and friction. Libra is intrigued by Scorpio's intensity and depth. There's something compelling about a person who sees straight through social masks. She brings gravity to a world he usually floats through. On the flip side, Scorpio finds Libra's charm both inviting and suspicious. Part of her is drawn to his light, his laughter, his ability to disarm tension with a single comment. But another part of her wonders, what's he hiding behind that easy smile? Is there depth there, or is it all surface shine? These judgments, often unspoken, can create an invisible wall between them. Libra might sense Scorpio's skepticism and retreat, while Scorpio may view his withdrawal as confirmation of her doubts. But here's where it gets interesting: when they choose to stay curious rather than critical, when they look past first impressions and lean into understanding, a surprisingly powerful friendship can form. Libra brings levity to Scorpio's world. He reminds her that not everything has to be intense to be meaningful. With him, she may begin to laugh more, loosen her grip on control, and find beauty in the ordinary. His presence can feel like sunlight in a room she didn't realize had gone dark. And for Libra, Scorpio becomes a grounding force. She pushes him to dig deeper, to question more, to stand up for what he believes in rather than just keeping the peace. With her, he feels seen in ways that go beyond his social persona. She challenges him to be more honest, with others and with himself. Together, they create a balance that is rare in friendships. Where Libra smooths the edges, Scorpio sharpens the focus. He offers perspective, she offers depth. He invites her out of her emotional cave, she anchors him when he floats too far from substance. If they respect each other's strengths instead of fearing them, their friendship becomes a kind of emotional alchemy. They may not always agree, but they'll always challenge each other to grow. Of course, the friction never disappears entirely. There will be moments when Scorpio finds Libra too avoidant, too diplomatic when she craves truth. And Libra may feel drained by Scorpio's emotional intensity, especially when he's simply trying to enjoy a moment of peace. But if both accept that this friendship is not about ease, it's about evolution, they'll find that the tension is what keeps things honest, real, and deeply rewarding. Think of them like yin and yang. Alone, each is powerful. Together, they're whole. Their friendship is a living example of how contrast doesn't always mean conflict, it can mean complement. It can mean growth. It can mean connection that goes beyond personality into something almost spiritual. So yes, a Libra man and Scorpio woman can be just friends. And when they are, it's anything but just. Business, charm meets strategy. Let's set the stage. Money's on the line, reputations are at stake, and decisions need to be made fast. Enter the Libra man and the Scorpio woman, two powerful archetypes who approach business from radically different angles but who, together, could become a force of nature. The Libra man walks into the boardroom like a master conductor, elegant, polished, in control of the room's energy. He reads people like open books and uses his natural diplomacy to create alignment in high-pressure environments. For him, business is as much about aesthetics and communication as it is about outcomes. He sells ideas with poise, turns chaos into consensus, and knows how to smooth rough edges with a smile. Whether he's presenting a pitch, leading a team, or resolving internal disputes, he brings balance, fairness, and a vision that appeals to multiple perspectives. He's rarely aggressive, but don't mistake his calm for weakness. He just prefers to win through influence, not intimidation. Then there's the Scorpio woman. She doesn't charm, she captivates. She doesn't guess, she calculates. With her laser focus, emotional intelligence, and unshakable ambition, she's the strategist who sees 10 moves ahead. Business, for her, isn't just a profession, it's a game of power and precision. She excels in roles that require depth, vision, and secrecy. Think investor, CEO, crisis manager, or the brain behind a massive corporate pivot. Where others see data, she sees patterns. Where others hesitate, she strikes. She doesn't need a spotlight to validate her worth because she's already running the show behind the scenes. While Libra networks, she interrogates. While he builds consensus, she builds leverage. And when something feels off, even slightly, she doesn't ignore it. She investigates until the truth is undeniable. Now imagine these two teaming up in a professional setting. When aligned, they're a case study in balance and brilliance. She crafts the big picture strategy, layering intuition with insight. He handles communication, client relationships, branding, and aesthetics. She creates the plan, he sells it. She moves in silence, he moves in style. Together, they can build an empire from the inside out. She fortifies the foundation while he perfects the facade. Her decisiveness balances his diplomacy. His sociability softens her edge. He sees how things look, she sees how things work. And when they trust each other's roles, their combined strengths create a synergy few can match. Deals close faster. Presentations hit harder. Teams feel both inspired and protected. But let's not pretend this alliance is always smooth. When misaligned, the same traits that make them powerful can pit them against each other in a silent, tension-filled power struggle. Libra's need to weigh every side of a situation can be maddening to the Scorpio woman, who trusts her gut and acts fast. To her, his constant need for balance may read as weakness, or worse, as an inability to commit. She may grow frustrated by his instinct to please everyone, interpreting it as a lack of backbone when tough decisions must be made. On the flip side, Libra may feel steamrolled by Scorpio's intense energy and high-stakes approach. He may see her as too controlling, too suspicious, or too emotionally reactive when things go off course. Her intensity can drain his calm. His calm can trigger her suspicion. When they clash, it doesn't look loud, it looks cold. Emails go unanswered. Meetings get tense. Trust erodes quietly until collaboration becomes competition. If neither is willing to step back and reassess the dynamic, the partnership can implode not from failure, but from misalignment. That's why clarity is everything. The secret to unlocking this duo's full business potential lies in 3 essential factors: clearly defined roles, consistent and honest communication, and mutual respect for each other's power. Libra must be willing to step into discomfort, to make decisions even when they aren't popular, and to recognize that Scorpio's drive isn't personal, it's purposeful. Scorpio, in turn, must remember that diplomacy isn't weakness, and that Libra's emotional detachment in tense moments can be a strength, not a slight. When both drop their defenses and trust the other's process, they stop working against each other and start elevating through each other. In the end, a Libra man and a Scorpio woman in business are either building a legacy or waging a silent war. The difference lies in whether they see each other's differences as threats or assets. When charm meets strategy and both are allowed to thrive, they don't just win, they change the game entirely. Conclusion: can this work? So, can a Libra man and a Scorpio woman really create lasting magic? Not just fleeting sparks, but something deep, stable, and soul-satisfying. The answer is layered, much like the two individuals involved. This isn't a match that falls into place naturally like puzzle pieces. It's more like sculpting a masterpiece from two very different elements, air and water, intellect and emotion, charm and intensity. At first glance, their connection might feel electric, even fated. But lasting compatibility? That requires intentional effort, emotional bravery, and a willingness to grow past comfort zones. They speak entirely different emotional dialects, one through lightness and logic, the other through silence and soul. Without effort, they'll mishear each other. With effort, they'll translate each other, and that's where the magic lives. The Libra man offers Scorpio a gift she may not have realized she needed, the ability to exhale. In his presence, her world doesn't always have to be a battlefield or an emotional labyrinth. He invites her to laugh more, obsess less, and take in the beauty of the present moment without needing to dissect every angle. He shows her that not every moment requires intensity, some just require stillness. He doesn't just smooth her edges, he makes her feel safe in softness. With him, she's reminded that vulnerability doesn't always mean exposure, it can mean ease. In return, the Scorpio woman gives the Libra man something profound: emotional gravity. She pulls him out of the clouds and anchors him in the richness of feeling. Through her, he learns that not all conflict is bad, that discomfort isn't danger, and that emotional truth, even when messy, is a pathway to deeper intimacy. She challenges him to move beyond charm and into conviction. Her presence asks him to stop performing and start participating. When she trusts, she is fiercely loyal. When she loves, it's absolute. Her emotional intensity becomes the crucible through which his inner self is forged and refined. This isn't a fairy tale love. It's a soul contract. It demands work, daily, deliberate, sometimes uncomfortable work. He must stop avoiding tension and start listening to the heartbeat underneath it. She must stop fearing emotional neutrality and start trusting in steady love. If they each only ever demand to be understood, it will fail. But if they both commit to understanding, to listening, evolving, adapting, this relationship can become something breathtaking. Not perfect, but powerful. Not always smooth, but profoundly meaningful. So, is it easy? Absolutely not. The Libra man will be pushed to feel more deeply than he ever has. The Scorpio woman will be asked to release control and let go of emotional tests she uses to protect herself. It's not just about love, it's about transformation. This match is for the brave, the introspective, the ones willing to be cracked open in order to love more fully. If you're a Libra man, prepare to be disarmed. If you're a Scorpio woman, prepare to be softened. Both of you, prepare to be changed. Is it worth it? Only if you're not looking for something convenient. Only if you're looking for something real. If you're both ready to grow, to stumble, to forgive, and to rise again together, this bond can become a sanctuary, a rare alchemy of grace and grit, elegance and depth, air and water. Love this deep dive? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who's ever wondered what happens when air kisses water. And hey, drop your sign in the comments. Are you a Libra or a Scorpio? Or have you dated one? Let's talk cosmic chemistry.